So I'm going to show you some simple stretches for low back pain. Now many people will come in, not everyone, but some people, they've got very, very tight lower back muscles. One of the reasons for that is they may not be working enough on their core muscles. One of the reasons for that is they're doing all the extension exercises the physiotherapist has told them to do back bends. Back bends are the Superman exercises or the bird dog, the kind of core exercises where you're doing sort of this kind of thing, and it's a back bend. So a core exercise might be sort of this kind of thing, but that's a back bend. That's going to make strong back muscles, hopefully also strong core muscles. So one cause of back pain is the muscles are too tight. Of course, the other cause is the muscles are too weak. Often the core muscles and the abs could be stronger. I do have abs here underneath the blubber. I prove it to you. That is a layer of muscle if I contract them. So classically, for tight backs, we look at twists, spinal twists. There are many kinds of spinal twist. Now one I've shown you, an easy one, would be a supine twist, where you do this kind of thing. Stop if it hurts. Doesn't matter how far your legs come, stop if it hurts. Now the most accurate way to do this kind of twist would be to shunt the hips, your whole pelvis, to the opposite direction you move your knees. The idea of this is that your head and tail are in a straight line. You're not skewed or like a banana on the table. I'll go through that again. Come back to neutral. My feet, my pelvis, my head are in a line. Hopefully that's easy to see on this table. I'll go through that again. To the opposite side. So I shunt the hips a little bit to the opposite direction. I'm going to pull my knees. And here's a spinal twist. It will stretch up all through the side, away from the table. I'll go back to neutral. So one way to do a twist would be also as a core exercise. If your core is good and it doesn't cause any pain, you hold your knees in the tabletop position. This is mat work Pilates. And I'll go through the shunt. I'll shunt my hips to the left side, legs up. I'm going to pull the legs over to the right side. I could have my hands palm up to get the stretch through the pec. And I'll come back again, knees, pelvis back to neutral, shunt the hips away, and then to here. Now, if that's too much to remember, don't worry too much about that. Just do a spinal twist. Stop if it hurts. Find the neutrality, the midline, spinal twist, as far as is comfortable. Stop if it hurts. Now, what I see people doing in the gym, and you're going to ask me this, they'll do this kind of thing. They'll fling the leg all the way across. Of course, if you do that, it tends to go to the piriformis and the glutes. So that's going into the butt. The piriformis, gluteals, and even worse, what I've seen in the gym, and this happens a lot for whatever reason, people sort of fling their leg across, hoping that somewhere it's going to click. And it's very sloppy. You don't just fling it across. So we don't do sloppy, we do accurate. Anyway, you can review that thing about spinal twist. I'm going to show you a standing twist. The most classical standing twists would be the yoga triangles. Now I have this windowsill, which we can imagine is the horse, the Tresla. The front foot is in a line. The back foot could be 60 degrees or 90 degrees in line with the instep. I could line it up on the carpet to show you that. The front foot straight forward, the back foot at 60 degrees, 45 degrees. So that would be the classic triangle position. I'm just going to use the sill to show you. If you're lucky enough to have a horse or a Tresla, use the horse. But the reason I'm here is to show you how to keep the alignment through the pelvis. What classically happens is you'll bring the back hip forward and you'll start to twist. So apologies to vegans listening. My yoga teacher used to call this keeping the meat in the sandwich. But the idea is as if I'm between two sheets of glass. So I'm sliding in a single plane, two-dimensional plane, not three-dimension. So I shunt the hips towards the back leg. I keep the ribs, in this case my right side, of the front leg from collapsing. I go into the triangle and you'll recognize this as the classical pose. I don't have to have my hand to my ankle. It may just get to the shin. That's perfectly acceptable. And the focus here is to engage the core, to bring my front groins and hip forward and to pull this one back. And that's why I'm doing it against the wall. You don't have to look up. You don't have to lift the arm up. That's the final version, but you can if you're good at this. And I'll come back up to neutral. The classic yoga triangles. You'll probably have seen this done, or one other version of this is to use equipment, and I'll use a yoga brick. Just bear with me. This is one I didn't get out in time. They come in shapes and sizes. This is a nice long one, but the usual kind are a little bit shorter. And the important thing about equipment is, if it helps, use equipment. I know there's this whole controversy with the purists. I don't use equipment. But really, my humble opinion, there's no shame in using equipment the correct way. So we'll go through that again to the opposite side. The front foot is facing straight forward, the back foot at 90 degrees or 60 degrees. I'll show it here against the wall, because what's going to happen is I'll start to twist. I engage the core, tailbone down, pubis up. Hand position is something like this. I want to stop the front ribs from collapsing, and I lean back, shunt my hips towards the back leg. This is the triangle. If I do want to use support, personally I prefer a long brick. And here we are. And here I am in the classic triangle. I could use a short brick. That's probably the ones that are commercially available. Or if that doesn't work, hand on shin to here. Of course, what this is doing is really working the core, really working the hamstrings, and getting a lovely spinal twist. Now, if you've done all that hard work on your back, try a forward bend to finish. An easy forward bend would be just to slide your bum up the wall, slide the sit bones up the wall, and it could be quite a wide-legged utanasana, but the knees are locked, they're not bent and puffy. Of course, these two bricks should be the same size if I'm going to use the bricks, but I could use them this way, they are the same size. So that's just to stretch out the hammies, the hamstrings, is to stretch the back. I'm in a concave spine, but I could go into full utanasana, dropping the head. That's the category of a forward bend, not a twist, but that's rather a nice way to finish the lower back. The other classic forward bend that I would have shown you is what I call the knee hug, where you hug the knees in, you're taking out the hamstrings, you're lengthening through the lower back, and that's a nice way to finish. If you are doing supine twists, then finish with a little forward bend. Keep it simple, that's enough. Good luck. Stop if anything hurts. It's your back muscles, your body, your practice. Be honest, be responsible. Enjoy. Good luck.